Today, we're diving deep into some truly huge HBAR news. News that will fundamentally change how you see the future of finance and the role of Hedera Hashgraph. This isn't just about price pumps, this is about a tectonic shift. But first, what exactly is triggering this financial deluge, and why is Hedera Hashgraph at its epicenter? The answer might surprise you, and it has everything to do with something called tokenization. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to pull back the curtain on the most significant financial movement of our lifetime, the tokenization of real-world assets. Imagine taking something tangible, real estate, gold, even fine art, and turning it into a digital asset on a blockchain. This isn't some futuristic fantasy, it's happening right now. And we're going to show you exactly how Hedera Hashgraph is positioned to capture a staggering portion of this multi-trillion-dollar market. You'll understand why the world's biggest financial players, the ones you thought would never touch crypto, are quietly but aggressively building on Hedera. The specific, groundbreaking partnerships and projects that are about to unleash these billions. And most importantly, what this all means for HBAR, the native token of Hedera, and its potential. This isn't just theory. We have concrete, undeniable evidence, fresh off the wire. This is the huge HBAR news update you've been waiting for, and it's far bigger than any daily price chart. But to truly grasp the magnitude of what's coming, we need to understand a problem that has plagued traditional finance for centuries. A problem that Hedera, and specifically HBAR, is uniquely solving. What is this ancient problem, and how can a digital ledger fix it? Let's talk about illiquidity. Think about buying a house. It's a massive investment, right? And if you want to sell it, it's not like selling a stock. You can't just click a button and have cash in seconds. It takes months, sometimes years. That's illiquidity. Your money is tied up, locked away. The real estate market alone is worth hundreds of trillions of dollars globally, and most of it is sitting there, essentially frozen. Now imagine taking a skyscraper, a massive commercial property, and digitally dividing it into thousands, even millions of tiny sellable pieces. Each piece is a token on a digital ledger. This is real estate tokenization. And here's where the first wave of those billions starts to surge towards Hedera Hashgraph. Remember Red Swan Real Estate? They've been working with Hedera since 2021. They're not just dabbling, they've already tokenized billions of dollars in real estate assets on Hedera. This is monumental. Instead of needing millions to invest in commercial property, you could potentially buy a token representing a tiny fraction of a skyscraper for a few hundred or $1,000. And here's the magic. These tokens can be bought and sold almost instantly, anywhere in the world with tiny fees. That's liquidity unlocked. Red Swan chose Hedera for its scalability and speed. They initially explored other blockchains, but they couldn't handle the sheer volume and transactional demands of global real estate. Hedera's underlying technology, the Hashgraph consensus, is like a superhighway for data, built for enterprise-grade throughput and near-instant finality. So with billions in real estate already tokenized, the question isn't if this money will move, but when it becomes truly liquid and accessible to a global market. And how many more trillions will follow? This isn't just about real estate. This is about entire industries being transformed. But you might be thinking, okay, that's impressive, but who are the really big players? The BlackRocks, the Fidelities? Are they actually touching crypto, let alone Hedera? But here's where things get even more fascinating, and a little bit secretive. Because for the longest time, these financial titans have been building in the shadows, waiting for the right technology. Meet RWAs. They are the UK's first FCA-regulated digital asset exchange, broker, and custodian. They're essentially the bridge between the old world of traditional finance and the new world of digital assets. And guess what? They're building on Hedera Hashgraph. RWAs is not just some small startup. They're working with some of the biggest names in finance to tokenize money market funds. Think about that: BlackRock, Fidelity, State Street, Aberdeen, LGIM. These aren't just names. They represent quadrillions of dollars in assets under management. These aren't speculative crypto projects. These are highly regulated, deeply established financial products now being tokenized on Hedera. What does this mean for HBAR? Every single transaction, every buy, sell, or transfer of these tokenized funds on Hedera requires a small fee paid in HBAR. This isn't just theory, this is the core utility of the token. So the biggest names in finance are actively creating these tokenized instruments on Hedera. But what about governments and global markets? Are they paying attention, or are they still stuck in the past? The answer reveals another massive wave of capital ready to converge. You see, this isn't just a Western phenomenon. The tokenization wave is global. And a recent, incredibly significant development comes from Africa. The Nairobi Securities Exchange, NSE, Kenya's principal stock market, has officially joined the Hedera Governing Council. This isn't a small deal. The NSE is actively looking to expedite the tokenization of securities within Kenya's capital markets. The global securities market is in the hundreds of trillions of dollars. When a major stock exchange, a pillar of a nation's financial infrastructure, decides to integrate with a DLT network, it's a massive vote of confidence. Their motivation? Real-time settlement, fractional ownership, and increased transparency. It democratizes access to investment, allowing more people to participate in their country's economic growth. And why Hedera? Because it offers the enterprise-grade security, speed, and reliability that traditional financial markets demand. But it's not just stocks and bonds. We're seeing real tangible assets being brought onto Hedera. Consider Voltec, who are tokenizing $3 billion in diamonds and gemstones on Hedera. Imagine buying a fraction of a diamond, authenticated and secured on a public ledger. This is literally digitizing physical wealth. The sheer volume of assets being prepared for tokenization on Hedera is staggering. But there's a deeper, more profound reason why Hedera is becoming the chosen network for these multi-billion-dollar moves, and it lies in its unique governance structure. What truly sets Hedera Hashgraph apart from every other blockchain project out there is its unique governing council. This isn't just some tech startup trying to build a network. This is a council of up to 39 globally recognized organizations, Fortune 500 companies, leading universities, and innovative Web3 projects. We're talking about names like Google, IBM, Boeing, LG, Tata Communications, and recently the Blockchain for Energy, B4E Consortium. These aren't just advisors. They run the network nodes, they approve core updates, and they ensure decentralized, collusion-resistant governance. This is why major institutions feel comfortable building on Hedera. They're not relying on a single centralized entity or a volatile, unpredictable developer community. They're partnering with a network governed by their peers. Greg Bell from Hedera often meets with banks, asset managers, and VCs. The big themes? Tokenization, AI verification, and stablecoin adoption. Hedera is right at the intersection of all of these massive trends. They've been building, networking, and connecting with the absolute biggest players in the world. This isn't just hype, it's a strategic long-term play by the most influential entities on the planet. But what about the regulatory landscape? The elephant in the room that often holds back innovation. How is Hedera navigating this minefield? And what crucial recognition has it already received that signals another flood of capital? One of the biggest hurdles for institutional adoption in crypto has always been regulatory uncertainty. But here's some huge HBAR news update that should get your attention. Hedera has received direct recognition in an International Monetary Fund, IMF tokenization document. This isn't just a passing mention. The IMF, a global organization with 190 member countries, recognizes Hedera's tokenization framework and definitions. This is a massive stamp of approval, signaling to governments and financial institutions worldwide that Hedera is a trusted, compliant, and well-understood network for digital asset innovation. Furthermore, Hedera joined the Institute of International Finance, IIF, back in August 2024. The IIF is a global association of financial institutions, with members like Circle, Coinbase, and even BlackRock. Their mission? To foster global financial stability. Hedera's involvement here underscores its commitment to working within established financial systems, not against them. This strategic engagement with regulatory bodies and global financial organizations provides a level of legitimacy and comfort that very few other crypto projects can claim. It's paving the way for the institutional floodgates to open even wider. But there's one final explosive piece of the puzzle. A development that ties all these threads together and reveals the ultimate destination for these billions. It's about how Hedera is becoming the fundamental building block for the future of money itself. We've talked about tokenizing real estate, money market funds, even diamonds. But what about the very foundation of our financial system, actual money? The world's central banks and major commercial banks are aggressively exploring and developing central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, and tokenized deposit tokens. These aren't just new payment methods, they are programmable money, digital versions of the currency you hold in your bank account, designed for instantaneous, secure, and highly efficient transactions. And you know what's coming, right? Where do you think these institutions are looking to build? While the full details of CBDC implementation are often kept under wraps due to national security and monetary policy, the underlying technology has to be incredibly robust, secure, and scalable. JP Morgan, one of the largest banks in the world, is openly exploring tokenized deposit tokens. And what we're seeing, quietly behind the scenes, are connections pointing directly to Hedera Hashgraph. Why Hedera? Its unique Hashgraph consensus algorithm provides near-instant finality, incredibly low, predictable transaction fees, we're talking fractions of a cent, and unparalleled security, ABFD, or asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance, the highest grade of security possible. These are critical requirements for national-level digital currencies and interbank settlements. This isn't just about crypto becoming a niche asset class, it's about the very plumbing of the global financial system being upgraded. When central banks and massive financial institutions start moving trillions of dollars through these new digital rails, the demand for the underlying network, and its native token HBAR, will be unlike anything we've seen before. So we've laid out the pieces: billions in real estate, quadrillions in money market funds, national stock exchanges, precious commodities, and even the future of money itself, all converging on Hedera. But how will this actually feel when it happens? And what's the ultimate impact on you, the viewer, and on the price of HBAR? This isn't just a collection of cool projects. This is a deliberate strategic play by Hedera and its powerful governing council to position itself as the foundational layer for the tokenized economy. Think about the sheer volume of transactions. Every time a fractional share of a building is bought or sold, every time a tokenized money market fund is transferred, every time a diamond's ownership is updated, or eventually, when digital dollars move across borders, each of these actions costs a fraction of a cent, paid in HBAR. It's like the fuel for this new digital economy. The more activity, the more transactions, the more utility for HBAR. And when you're talking about markets worth hundreds of trillions of dollars, even tiny fees accumulate into astronomical demand for the native token. But the question remains, with all this institutional adoption and underlying utility, why isn't the market seeing the full picture yet? And what's the final critical piece of this huge HBAR news update that will unlock its true value? It's true. If you just look at the daily price charts, you might scratch your head. With all this monumental adoption, why isn't HBAR already at stratospheric levels? This is a crucial point, and it's where the smart money often gets in before the crowd. The vast majority of the developments we've discussed, the institutional integrations, the central bank explorations, the massive asset tokenization projects, they are happening behind closed doors, or in highly regulated environments, out of sight of the typical retail crypto investor. It's like watching the foundations of a skyscraper being laid in secret, before the public ever sees the impressive structure rise. The current market focus for many altcoins is often on speculative narratives or short-term pumps. Hedera is playing a completely different game, a long-term, enterprise-grade, regulatory-compliant game. This isn't built for a quick flip, it's built for global infrastructure. But there's a coming catalyst. A moment when this hidden activity will become undeniably visible, even to the casual observer. It has to do with the on-ramps and off-ramps for these massive financial flows. And when those are fully connected, the flood will become undeniable. So, how will this unseen force finally manifest? And what does it mean for the future of HBAR in the mainstream? For months, we've been waiting for a crucial piece of validation. A publicly accessible metric that would show exactly how much tokenized value is living on Hedera. And now, it's here. RWAs, a leading data aggregator for real-world assets on-chain, has started adding Hedera to its platform. This is a massive huge HBAR news update. Currently, you might see just one tracked RWA asset account, the Atlas Opportunity Fund from Red Swan Real Estate. But here's the critical part, this is just the beginning. The data we discussed earlier, the billions in real estate, the tokenized money market funds from BlackRock and Fidelity, the diamonds from Voltec, much of that hasn't been fully reflected on RWAXYZ yet. Graham Rodford, the CEO of Arcax, recently confirmed it himself. They've created the contracts for all the funds they have available on Arcax, and they expect to see those with balances on RWAXYZ soon. He even added the eyes emoji, a clear signal that this is imminent. When RWAXYZ fully integrates and accurately tracks the actual billions, and eventually trillions, of tokenized assets flowing onto Hedera, that's when the market will get undeniable, public proof of the scale of adoption. That's when the retail market can no longer ignore what the institutions already know. This isn't about speculation anymore, it's about verifiable, on-chain utility. And it's about to put HBAR in a league of its own. We've talked about the quiet tsunami, the hidden revolution, the institutional giants moving in the shadows. We've seen billions in real estate, quadrillions in money market funds, national stock exchanges, precious commodities, and even the future of money itself, all converging on Hedera Hashgraph. This isn't just about a project. It's about a foundational layer for the global economy. Imagine the internet in its early days. No one truly grasped its full potential then, but the building blocks were being laid. Hedera is building those blocks for the next iteration of the global financial system. The utility for HBAR isn't some abstract concept. It's the microfuel for every single transaction on this enterprise-grade network. As more and more real-world value is brought on-chain by regulated institutions, the demand for HBAR will inherently increase. It's a direct correlation between real-world use and token utility. This isn't speculation based on hype, It's demand driven by fundamental global adoption. The huge HBAR news update isn't a single event. It's a culmination of years of quiet strategic building by some of the most powerful organizations on the planet. They are not chasing pumps. They are building the rails for the future of finance. And those rails run on Hedera, fueled by HBAR. The question isn't if billions will flood Hedera. It's when the rest of the world fully comprehends the scale of what is already happening, and what is about to be unleashed. The shift is already in motion. The groundwork is complete. The stage is set. The era of enterprise-grade, real-world asset tokenization is here. And HBAR stands at its very epicenter. So what does this mean for you? It means understanding that the landscape of finance is changing, profoundly and irreversibly. It means recognizing that while daily price fluctuations can be distracting, the true long-term value is being built by institutions solving real-world problems. This isn't about getting rich overnight. This is about being informed, being prepared, and understanding the macro forces that will shape the next decade of wealth creation. The transformation isn't coming, it's already unfolding. If this video opened your eyes to the incredible potential of Hedera Hashgraph and the power of tokenization, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our deep dives into the projects and technologies that are truly changing the world.